Alright, so we have our extra two parts and our spawn point. And what you probably did to construct that is you went to model and you selected part and you set block. You move the block around. And I know when you, I'm sorry, this is just one point that point of advice I want to give you, is I know that you can move this block by clicking on the block and moving him in different directions. Okay, and it seems like that's the most natural way to do this, but let me just tell you, it's going to cause you more headache than it solves problems in the future. So what you want to do to move this guy around is use the arrows. All right, the blue to move him horizontally, the red to move him the red to move him up and down, and then the green to move on the z-axis, right, to move upwards or downwards, like flying up and flying down. So just get in the habit of doing that, right? Because when you grab him like this, sometimes it moves up and down, sometimes it moves side to side, and it's very inaccurate. So yeah, and so what you did is you did all those things, then you clicked on scale up on the top left corner. You made it the size that you want it to be. Then you moved him into the right location, and you said, okay, good, I'm done. Right? I'll do that again. I'll go to part, I'll add a block, and I'll do that whole process again. But the easier way to do this would be to select the block that you made previously, right-click it, and say duplicate. And once you duplicate it, you can grab the blue arrow and slide them into place. Okay. And then I could right click him and I could say duplicate, and then I could slide him into place, and so on. Okay, so that would be the best way to go about this. And another thing I want to talk about before moving on is the collisions. Right, so the collisions works by if we have it select, like you can see here, we don't have it selected, right? And if I do have it selected and I press duplicate, you see here how it duplicates the block on top of the previous block. And if I move it downward, you'll notice that the top block cannot exist in the same space as the bottom block. Okay, so yeah, sometimes collisions works for you and sometimes it doesn't, and if you don't want it to happen, then you turn it off, and if you do want it to happen, then you turn it on. And in our case here, we would want to turn it off because we want all of our blocks to appear on the same plane. But if you didn't want that to happen, you could turn collisions on. Okay. And one last thing before we go ahead and move on is the issue of... No, I guess that's it. Okay, let's stop right here, and we'll talk about the spawn point in the next video.